Hello everyone, my name is Sarthak. I'm a second year law student at the National Law School of India, University, Bangalore, and I'm legal faculty at Pratt Tutor. Today, we'll be looking into the Kerala High Court order on the enrollment of transgender students to the NCC. And in that context, we'll also be exploring the landmark case of Nalsa versus the Union of India and some ideas about gender self-perception and how your gender should not be grounds for discrimination in India. To that effect, let's just first look at the petition by petitioner Hina Hanifa against the National Cadet Corps. At present, what needs to be mentioned here is that the petitioner is a transgender trans woman. She is a student at the University College of Thiruvananthapuram and she has got sex affirmation surgery, subsequent to which she has changed her name to Hina Hanifa and she carries a transgender identity card bearing her chosen gender, which is female. Now, it needs to be understood why the petitioner's identity becomes relevant in this case. Because the petitioner is a trans woman and she identifies as a female, as a member of the female gender. Because of this, her treatment of anything other than female is something that she is challenging at the moment. That is her self-assumed, self-perceived identity. And in light of this, she has challenged the NCC. The NCC had denied enrollment to her on the grounds that there was no provision under which a transgender student could be enrolled. The NCC argued that you're carrying an identity card that says that you're a transgender student. However, we have only male cadres and female cadres. There's a junior cadre, there's a senior cadre, and there's a girls cadre. None of these can be suitable for a trans student. Therefore, we will not enroll a trans student. That is what the NCC's argument was. However, in saying so, the NCC is not looking at the fact that the petitioner is eligible. The petitioner has certificates that corroborate her eligibility to be enrolled to the NCC. And the NCC is also not looking at the fact that she is female by her own admission. The state also argued that allowing a transgender person to the women's cadre would be violative of privacy because the state is looking at the broader definition of transgender under the Transgender Persons Protection of Rights Act of 2019. Now, the Act does not really sort of make the transgender identity contingent on biology. Even a person who is a transvestite, who just dresses as dresses in the gender self-expression of their own perceived gender, even that person can qualify as a transgender under the Act. That person does not really have to undergo surgical procedures for them to be considered transgender under the Act. In this case, the state's argument was that a person who is biologically male but may identify as a female, may have the self-perceived gender identity of a female, would then be eligible to be admitted to the women's cadre. That is what the state's concern here is. And in light of that, the state claimed that till separate arrangements cannot be made for the petitioner, she cannot be admitted to the female cadre. Now, looking at these arguments, the Kerala High Court first looked at Nalsa versus Union of India, which is a foundational case on the self-perception of gender and how discrimination and on the basis of gender is illegal. In the assessment of Nalsa, the Kerala High Court recognizes that the Transgender Persons Act itself is founded on this principle of self-determination, self-perception, and the definition of the Act cannot be used to discriminate against transgender people itself. The definition of transgender, a transgender person under the Act is any person who does not really conform to the gender that they were assigned at birth. Any person who has chosen a gender identity that is different from the one that they were assigned at birth. Under the Act, such a person has the right to their self-perceived gender identity and they cannot be discriminated against. In light of this, the Kerala High Court ordered that the NCC Act must keep up with the times. The Act is from 1948. It cannot claim that the divisions that were created then should be upheld even now. The state cannot claim this. In fact, the women's cadre itself was added at a later date. The NCC was imagined to be an entirely male squad. Since in time it included women personnel to the NCC as well. So in time, in keeping with the 21st century, transgender people should also be given access to the, should also be given admission to the NCC. That is what the court founded its order on. Further, the court also recognized that the petitioner here has a right to her self-perceived gender identity. She has undergone surgery to aid her self-perception as a person of the female gender, and therefore any discrimination against that, any sort of any discrimination on the basis of this would not really be tenable under the law, under the Act, nor the Nalsa case. In light of this, the court further commented that detailed guidelines not being available cannot be a ground that denies substantive rights under the Act. So, in conclusion, what needs to be remembered and recognized very clearly is that under the Transgender Persons Protection of Rights Act and under the 2014 judgment of the Supreme Court in Nalsa vs. Union of India, the right to self-perceived gender identity is a priority. It is on a pedestal. And any person is free to choose to identify with any gender that they feel comfortable with. And the breadth of this definition of the word transgender does not in any way take away their rights. In fact, they are guaranteed their rights under the law. With that, we come to the end of this video, and hopefully it has been a valuable experience. For any doubts that you may have, please feel to write to us at hello@flattutor.com. And in case of any feedback, please leave them in the comments below. Thank you.